I think, what also became lost in the soup here is the fact that what actions were taken after we were in power. The what they call N over 55, which was basically reducing the retirement computation from 60 to 55, cost billions of dollars.
I think that's something that definitely, well, first of all, it's obviously confusing just by listening to the conversation here and people's reactions to things, but also, people forget there were some very significant changes made after we left that have exacerbated, well, there wasn't that problem. Because I can remember on that last budget, again, when we were reconfiguring the numbers on the last budget before I left, we were going back to the municipalities and starting to say, gang, it looks like this is going to be the year. You're coming into this year or the next year, starting to raise the flag that they were going to have to start paying back in again. That was going to be back on the regular schedule because it looked like the budget was, the economy was not doing so well.
In the succeeding administration,
the market wasn't doing
when
so
it
well.
came time to start making the normal contribution again, they bonded.
Well,
They
Governor
bonded
DeFrancesco raised the contribution by 9%.
9%.
And 55. And I fought
The
against
55
that,
to 50, and didn't they also lock in, because we did it on a rolling 3-year average from the market, or 5-year? And they locked,
It was 5 and they marched to market.
they marked to market,
There's more to this story. There's more to this story. With the CWA, we actually had a side agreement with them, giving them some bennies. We decreased their pension contribution by 0.5%. We promised no layoffs, would limit privatization, and we guaranteed benefits of state workers with 5 years on the job, even if future benefits reduced. We actually had a side agreement with the CWA. The NJEA, they were on board right away. What was strange in this whole scenario and what caused us problems was the AFL-CIO. Young Charlie Wakanek, and I'm going to use my words carefully, for some reason, he jumped on board against this. He used very aggressive language, very negative language, and it was always very mysterious why he was so opposed to what was good for his members. Why was he, now, I'll tell you afterwards why we think that he was opposed to it, but he had his own motivation, and he ginned up the legislators to oppose it. And we got it done. It wasn't easy, but once it was out there, it had to be done, and we did get it done.
I will tell you that given the same set of circumstances, I would recommend this again.
And the SEC also looked at it because they were concerned with what would be the arbitrage. That was always an issue. And they gave it a pass. There was one issue that isn't mentioned here, but which is that Doug Forster had set aside $440 million for pre-funding medical expenses. And what we did then was we looked around, we talked to our actuaries, that fellow Baus, and he said nobody does that in the private sector.
Right.
So that money was taken back directly, as far as I remember. Wasn't on the inside on that, but I believe that a small portion was taken back and put into the budget. Nobody ever talks about that, just as well. I have.
Currently, the unfunded liability on that end on a retiree health benefits is twice as large as the pension liability. Yeah.
I have a little chart here, which actually I only got 5 copies of it, but I don't know if there are 5 people who want it. But I should pass one down to Chris.
We should have it for the archives.
Do you have this one?
No, but
No.
I'd like to have it.
Yeah, but this is from Fortune magazine, so it's not a in-house thing. And when she retired, we had a surplus. When I retired, we had just beginning to have a surplus. But anyway, here a couple of them here. I'll give one to Jimmy and whoever else wants one.
And in terms of the archives also, and we talk about the Whitman administration, it really was a 7-year administration. There was a year that followed where a number of incidents occurred, decisions were made that frankly had a negative impact on the records as they stood when Christie walked out the door. And unfortunately, when they talk about the Whitman administration, they talk in terms of all 8 years, when in fact the last year the word shenanigans was used before. There were a lot of shenanigans, again, a political year, that impacted her and didn't actually impact the person who had caused them, which I think is most unfortunate. I just wanted to say that for the record as well.
We better